Greetings everyone. In this video I want to talk about judgment and its effect on you when you are doing the judgment.
Greetings! This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
There are different kinds of judgment, but the judgment I'm going to speak about in this video is when you see someone else in the game, source player or soulless one, and you judge their lifestyle, the color of their skin, the color of their hair, their clothing choices. You judge them and their life choices, how they're living their lives, and especially when you observe them and then you start talking about them, you are losing energy. You're losing energy from your synergy cell. All right? 5-second rule applies to judgments. All right? If you realize that you are making a judgment about a person about their lifestyle choices that you are judging as being right or wrong, then that energy is going to be sucked from your synergy cell, that judgment that you are making. You have the 5-second rule to cut that thought and not pay a penalty from your synergy cell. But if you continue to drip, drain from your synergy cell. It's really important to realize that other people and their choices, other source players and their choices in their game have nothing to do with you. Unless, of course, you have you have chosen to include them in your game, whether they're a spouse or a child. Choices that you have made that have included them in your script, whether it's a rewritten script or not. Now, that's judging someone and holding a judgment over their life choices. Now, sometimes you recognize, or you should be able to recognize, a low-frequency behavior. Recognizing a low-frequency behavior and not attaching it to that person and judging the person for their choice of a low-frequency behavior is different from all-out judging the person and continually holding that judgment. It's like unforgiveness. It takes you out of your now, and it drains energy from your synergy cell. There is a difference between judgments and boundaries. All right? You can have boundaries. And that's you. That's you setting a boundary, saying that these are my boundaries. I'm not going to be with people who are drug users. I'm not going to be with alcoholics. I'm not going to be with these type of people. That is a different choice and judgment. You are not belittling the person or thinking less of the person for their life choices or their lifestyles. It just means that you are not interested in participating in those types of choices, and you have nothing in common. You have nothing in common with those types of lifestyle choices. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. It doesn't go together. It's separate. It's different. Now, you can ask your source self where your judgment energy is coming from, what kind of judgment you are making that's coming from your synergy cell, and what type of judgment might be coming from your daily supply. it's really easy to determine the judgments that come from your synergy cell are the ones where you are really judging a person. You are nitpicking their lifestyle choices. You are nitpicking their life choices. You think you could do it better if you were in their situation. You are nitpicking, and you are judging them on that. And then you hold a judgment about that person regarding their choices. Now, if you're watching a vlogger, or you're watching any kind of instructional or teaching videos or shows, or you're going to a seminar that has these things, and you are judging the individual for their choices, then you are losing energy from your synergy cell. Now, I have to ask you, if you are judging that person, why are you wasting your time watching them? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you give your time to that thing? Except for sometimes people like to judge other people because it makes them feel better about themselves. And that's not a beneficial, there are people that have this inward trait, I will say, that their subconscious has hooked into them, and subconsciously they're judging everything. And then what happens is whenever you judge someone else, your subconscious holds you accountable, more accountable, because now you're saying something is right or wrong with that person. So now your subconscious is going to be judging you the same way. You see, you've given consent because you've made an action, and through that action, you have given implied consent. And your subconscious will make you pay, will extract payment from you. More payment, all right? And why? You have to ask yourself why. Why do you feel the need to belittle someone else or judge someone else in this game, especially if they have nothing to do with you? Especially if they have nothing to do with you. And like I said, there's a difference between judgment and boundaries. You have to make a type of a determination of what type of behavior you will allow around you. And that isn't a judgment, that's a boundary. A boundary. There is a big difference there. And like I said, the 5-second rule counts. Once you start the process of developing and thinking along a judgment and starting to scrutinize things about that person, and I will say negative determinations and scrutinies are far worse, okay, than positive determinations. I say always look for the positive. Look for the positive in any situation to keep your frequency high. To keep your frequency high. When you start looking at the negatives and dwelling in the negatives, it will bring your frequency level down. Now, you can find something to appreciate in any person that you meet. There can always be something that you can find to appreciate about them. But does that mean that you want to be around that person or have them included in your script? Those are choices you have to make. You see, this game is about you. Your game is about you. No one else. You. And the choices that you make. And your choices will determine your experience in this game and how you think. You see, your subconscious will, well, there's a price to pay. unless you have cleared out that karma, good and bad, you see, there is no good, there is no bad. It just is. It just is. And your choices, whether they're high frequency choices or low frequency choices, determine your game and your experiences here. The same as it does for everyone else. All the other source players. And even that is factored into the programs, the soulless ones that you are interacting with. All right? You need a strong source self-connection, and a knowing of who you are. And that this whole game is you. The matrix is you. The matrix is you. You created the matrix. You set up you set it up. It's you. You are playing a game with yourself. And it can take time to come to a full realization of what the game is, because the programming is so strong, that it's very hard to escape that old programming. Now, if you find the information that I'm sharing in these videos beneficial to you, then it benefits you to say thank you via gift via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you. You can have your best life yet.